Guru Nation, welcome back to another episode. I'm here with Chris Sauber. It's been a long time since I saw him last, but I'm all the way here in outer space. Chris is over there in Latinos in Clinical Research Land, and we're here to bring you this stock, Palantir, PLTR. I know what you guys are thinking. You nerds are thinking right now. This is not a biotech. You're right.
Nerds.
You're right, nerds. This is
Is
not
it?
a biotech.
Is that an acceptable term?
Yes, it is PC. You are a
It is.
nerd
Okay.
if you are telling me that this is not a biotech. I'm well aware of this. But hear me out, and we're going to watch a video, and Chris and I are going to dissect because Palantir is in life sciences. Palantir, full disclosure, this is not financial advice, but I own Palantir in my IRA like heavy, 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 heavy. Okay, I plan to buy more because it's been getting beat up. If you look at the last year to date, it's high of 39, low of 35. They only went public like a year ago, not even a year ago. So this is like a new company already at a $43 billion market cap. If we look at their website, the next generation technology for the next generation of your industry, the CIA uses them. They are a vendor of the CIA. They process data for all the big companies. Their next generation of software powers the most competitive organizations in the world. Foundry can turn insights into actions, models into outcomes faster than anyone else. Foundry is actually what we're going to be looking at here for life sciences. But let's go back into Palantir. We're not trying to see the future, we're trying to create the future, and I can't imagine a better partner to be doing that with than Palantir. This is the CEO of BP, British Petroleum. Look at all the industries they're in: financial services, automotive, chemicals, consumer products. You know, who's a huge fan of this? Cathie Wood. This is how I found out about this. Cathie Wood, consumer products, energy, financial service, auto, metals, media, healthcare, insurance, transportation, supply chain,
Yeah,
retail.
they're in everything.
They're using their software to leverage everything and make all these businesses more disruptive. So now, nerds, come back. Come back and let's look at life sciences. And I'm just kidding. We're the biggest nerds there are, myself first and then Chris. This is the life sciences demo. It's about 20 minutes. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch all of it. I'm going to fast forward as needed. It's quite dense. There's a lot to unpack, and we'll pause and unpack. So let's get into it. And I'm going to put my head down so the mic can be facing the speakers. The mic can be facing the speakers. Sorry, guys, this is very unprofessional. Okay, again, nerds.
Research and improve patient outcomes that frankly no other platform can do. Firstly, how it allows them to be totally compliant with the stringent governance requirements around healthcare data, while still allowing researchers to access that data and uncover valuable insights. Secondly, how it enables them to do research in ways that are completely reproducible and transparent. And finally, how it allows them to share and collaborate securely across their organization and across user profiles in ways that accelerate research.
Today, we're going to show you the governance, the analytics, and the knowledge sharing through an end-to-end example of the development of a prognostic model for lung cancer.
So this is how Palantir plans to disrupt and just started. They have a deal with the NIH already so the first part is governance. They basically, I'll make it short and sweet for you. They're using the AI. They're using their collaborative workplaces. It's kind of like the Intralinks we use, but like way better.
So they're a software company?
Yeah, software company that allows collaboration. They use AI. They use big data, and you'll see how they do with the NIH. But in this example, is for a lung cancer study. They're making protocol smart, like in a smart way, by aggregating previous data and creating the protocol quickly, and then letting humans also efficiently get involved through the workplace. So the first part is governance. The music's fantastic, by the way. I'll bump this in my car.
I'm sure you do.
Human disease than ever before, from clinical observations to genomic imaging and wearable sensor data. We can all feel how
You see all this data that's being collected already in trials. If it's like, for example, if you're the NIH, if you're Pfizer, if you're J&J, if you're one of these big behemoths, how do you say that word? Behemoth?
Behemoth.
Okay. The way Chris said it in me, behemoth. All this data that's being gathered, Chris, under one roof, is just being siloed. Like they're not really using it to design other studies, right? They have to have like humans go in and look, okay, this is the data. This is Palantir is going to change all this. And it gets better because under companies like NIH and like, when we analyze the stock Kintara, okay, they're part of a collaborative research study, which we're going to start seeing more of those collaborations among sponsors. Palantir allows for sharing of data while keeping things, they're talking about governance, keeping things kind of confidential, just the necessary things, but then the overall picture, the data is getting processed more efficiently. So let's listen.
How important it is to have strict governance and access control on this data. Less intuitive is how to actually meet the corresponding regulatory requirements. Foundry gives them full control over data access and usage. For any given dataset, governance administrators can see every place it's been used in one click. And more critically, they can immediately understand what purpose the data was used for, because the original access intent is recorded automatically alongside every analysis that was performed. The result is increased control for governance teams and reduced risk of unauthorized repurposing of highly sensitive data.
Okay, so that's pharma. That's the first thing they need to hear. If you're about to sell them this thing, the first thing they're going to ask, I know because they all think like you, Chris, defense first, Pete Carroll mindset. What do we do? Oh, come on, guys, this is great, but like, no. Governance, they starting with this point. That tells me they've
protecting
done
the data.
What do you think about that so far? As I see where else we can.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that definitely would be a peak concern. So you got to protect the data.
All right. So enough about governance. Let's get to analytics, right? I think we get the governance part. They're going to go for 4 more minutes about that. I've watched this 3 times already.
3 times?
Yeah. I got to be prepared.
Got to memorize, huh?
I know there's nerds watching. I got to be prepared. Oh, and there's going to be an ad, so I got to skip this. But hold on. Analytics. Again, the music is so good. Okay, skip ad. Okay, here we go.
So, it's time to start developing the prognostic model. Foundry accelerates studies by allowing researchers to use the tools they're comfortable with, while making it easier to collaborate and to iterate. We'll walk through 3 examples of how Foundry enables this kind of collaboration. Every study starts with protocol writing and feasibility testing in order to identify a cohort of patients that is both medically relevant and large enough for statistical analysis. Foundry's cohorting app shortens this process by bringing medical experts, data owners, and biostatisticians to a common interface and building a library of reusable criteria. For this study, I want to build
a
prognostic model for patients with lung cancer.
Yes.
What is he referring to when he says Foundry? Is that the name of the software?
That's the software, yeah. When you go to Palantir's homepage, there's 2 things. They have Foundry and Gotham. So Gotham is like, I don't even know. Let's look. Great question, actually. Foundry, I mean, this looks so futuristic. The operating system for government decision making. This is the CIA stuff here.
Right.
This was their first customer, actually, the CIA. So the operating system for government decision making. Foundry is like for life science and the other stuff, like all the other industries. Any industry that could be disrupted, which is why Cathie Wood loves this stock. She loves things where you can take a old business model, add tech to it, and make it better. And this is the vendor for that, the preferred vendor for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great stock. I don't know if I can say that more. Let's get into it. Are you enjoying this, or you want to go eat dinner?
No, let's finish.
Okay, you might buy this by the time we're done.
Using a real-world data source. I've already filtered down to patients between 35 and 55 in the US with both imaging and clinical data available. And see that I have 16,000 patients.
Remember, they're getting this from like NIH type of places, Pfizer type of places.
Adjust the criteria to expand the population without needing to cycle through various data experts to check counts. Traditionally, updating inclusion criteria can often take a week or more, meaning months can go by before analysis begins.
Important when a clinical trial costs $1 million a day.
Filter to patients with lung cancer. Instead of spending weeks compiling the necessary code sets and logic to define this disease state, I can search our phenotype library and pull from the experience of other experts. In this case, I'll use the Odyssey-defined phenotype for lung cancer to check patient counts. Because all my data is already standardized in OMAP format, I can automatically import and apply any code lists and cohorts defined by the open source community.
Okay, so they could basically do that So I won't bore with more of that. They're basically showing how they can find patients and change the IE criteria on the fly, right? That's how they're using that. The next part is going to be
So do
yeah,
you know
go ahead.
where their data is coming from? The data that they're analyzing, I would assume it's coming. It sounds like it's coming from previous trials, but
It's coming from previous trials or current trials under the same roof. So whether it's all Pfizer or whether it's
okay.
all NIH or whether it's like that Kintara with the Agile study, you know how there's like 6 sponsors collaborating, but there's
Mhm.
one sponsor, but 6 companies.
Right.
So it would be the data all aggregated from that. These are for the companies that have a lot of data.
Mhm.
Like the customers are going to be big Fortune 500 or
Sure.
government.
Sure.
This is who their customers are. Pretty interesting, no?
Absolutely. Wait until Facebook takes hold.
Facebook can't buy it. It's too big already.
No. I don't mean buy it, but uses it.
I think this is the core competency. I don't think it's that easy. These guys, we gotta go. Like, if we have time for another video, we do a deep dive on the founder, the CEO, and the founder, because he's you can't just create this like.
Well, that's
from
the
scratch.
value of Facebook is all the personal data there.
Right.
So I'm sure that that's being mined as we speak. So
Yeah, they can do it. Facebook's got it locked down for the consumers. This has it locked down for enterprise, I think.
okay.
But yeah, actually, good comparison.
Connect to custom HPC clusters.
Okay, let's skip that part.
Sharing
It gets
my
very heavy here.
Findings for operational use.
Impactful research depends on translating results into new drug discovery or improved clinical care. I can deploy the production version of my model for use, either within Foundry or to an external environment, such as an EHR system. At pharma companies, a prognostic model like ours might be used to refine inclusion criteria for new trials or identify patients for trial enrollment. Whereas at a provider, the model could be deployed into an external system, such as an EHR, where it could inform clinical decision.
Here comes an ad. Let's skip it. Okay, data.
Combine these with
Data.
other data such as gene expression levels,
Hold on, let's
quality
get
data from
let's get back into the
Model's
data.
performance. I might move to a third type of collaboration, sharing my findings for operational use.
impactful research could be deployed into an external system. Such
Let's
source
get the
systems
data.
can be quickly and a data warehouse. Toxicity and high content images to discover new drug candidates for diseases such as malaria, multiple myeloma, and prostate cancer. As an engineer, I can automatically check for data updates and set up alerts for when these deviate from their expected quality. Data of any modality can be rapidly centralized and cataloged, so the engineering team can spend more of their time on the second piece of the puzzle: how to standardize this data across all patients. Because not only do I need to virtually reassemble a single patient's journey, but I also need to do so in a way that allows me to compare patterns across many patients at once.
Keeping with our engineer persona, I'll switch now to a data lineage view to show how Foundry accelerates this harmonization. Each of the boxes is a dataset, and as we go from left to right, our data is transformed from raw ingests to clean, analysis-ready datasets. As you can imagine, our clients want their data science talent to focus on analysis, not data wrangling. As a data management team, our goal is to provide harmonized, reliable datasets that use standard medical vocabularies and data models. This makes it easy for researchers to pivot across sources and pull features from different modalities as projects evolve. However, data standardization projects can take years. We've built Foundry archetypes to cut this process down to weeks for both real-world data and historic clinical trials data. I'll start with an example from our real-world evidence work. We have 2 RWE data sources being translated into the OMOP Common Data Model in blue and orange. Imagine we've just licensed a third source, EHR claims. We want this data in the same OMOP format as the others, so that researchers can easily develop models on any of the 3 sources. In just a few clicks, I can use a pipeline archetype to deploy a pre-built data pipeline that converts this new data source into the common data model. All I need to do is point the archetype towards my input datasets. Then I'm given a set of predefined health checks and build schedules. I can customize these or just review the deployment plan and execute. On my data management graph, I've added a full pipeline without writing a single line of code. It's in green. I've mapped source data to medical vocabularies, which could include RxNorm and SNOMED, and transform my source tables into ready-to-analyze OMOP tables. Researchers in my organization now have all the real-world data at their fingertips without having to translate between raw schemas.
In a matter of
Another
weeks.
area in which Foundry
In a matter of
accelerates
weeks.
standardization
Instead of
is generic
years.
clinical trial data. Closed trials are rich, high-quality sources of multimodal patient data. But each trial is run and recorded just a little bit differently, leaving R&D orgs with hundreds of data silos rather than a reusable pool of patient data. Cross-trial harmonization is the key to unlocking additional value from this data. Once patients are comparable across trials, researchers can use much larger pools to generate hypotheses about indication expansion, biomarker strategy, or disease progression.
So that right there is why I'm bullish, not just on this company, on clinical research in general. Do you know how many more studies this is going to facilitate? Yes, they won't last as long. Maybe they can close them out quicker, but there's going to be an explosion of studies with this kind of tools.
Certainly. Now, a couple of questions. Has the FDA voiced their opinion on this?
Oh, it's all validated, like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if FDA actually uses this.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it gets better.
Here in my
I
data
think it
foundation,
gets better.
I've imported 10 trials from a source system. Each has 20 component data sets with dozens of variables in each one. Foundry's entity resolution archetype guides the harmonization effort between these. It automatically services suggested domain and variable matches, but then lets subject matter experts review and confirm the logical matches.
See,
The full map
it lets the
provenance,
humans
the
get
matches,
involved.
Confirmations and transformations are saved and transparent for any future users. Confirmed rules are automatically applied to new trials added to the pipeline, ensuring that I only have to do this harmonization once over consistent data sets. I've now built a 360-degree view of each patient, and I've put their disparate data points in the context of their overall journey. And even more importantly, each patient's story is now told in the same language. The standardization archetypes allow me to compare symptoms in one patient directly to patients from a different source.
So this is amazing because, and then part 4 is knowledge. I don't know what they're saying about knowledge, but knowledge we can all agree is good.
For production usage. Once approved by administrators, it will show up as a reusable resource from my study.
These published knowledge objects are available to discover in the Knowledge Store application. Here, we can see the prognostic model we just published, now available for others in my organization to use. Reproducibility in scientific research is a serious crisis. High-profile retractions of COVID observational research demonstrate the importance of getting this right. Foundry helps address this issue with automatic provenance tracking. Any research result, whether a dataset, model, or visualization, can be traced step by step back to the exact version of the raw data that was used to produce it. In a similar manner, Foundry helps institutions track attribution. Whenever any artifact from the knowledge store is reused, this usage is logged and the originating author is acknowledged. The combination...
It's kind of like blockchain. I mean, like this is how they can attribute where the data came from. Reproducibility in clinical trials is a problem. To reproduce the exact same results in a new study, this makes it a lot easier. So basically, NIH is already using it.
Robust security.
A lot of big pharma already using it. This is a guy from the NIH talking right now.
Quite amazing.
I think.
But reproducible science is hard because often the methods are just described in words. But in Palantir, we can actually look at the keystroke of each thing that got us from A to B. And
See,
so
reproducibility is a problem at the drug development.
We help our partners accelerate from one study to the next and ultimately translate research into improved patient outcomes.
Who is this guy?
reproducible science is hard because often the methods are just described in words. But in Palantir, we can actually look at the keystroke of each thing across these different
So basically you get it. And then they're going to talk about industrial. If that's not enough, then they talk about how this is used in industrials. Completely different industry, right? But I mean, this is amazing company. I can't rave enough about it. I think it's way undervalued right now. Not financial advice. It's April 28th, 2021. It's been beat up this last month. I think the last month it's down I know because I own it.
And what did it close? Since you gave the date, what did it close at today? You can go back and watch this video in 2 years.
Yeah, you'll watch this video in 2 years. They probably would have split already. They get so high. It
So-
closed at $23.87. 52-week high 45. 52-week low $8.
So $23 and how much cents?
23.87.
So we'll just say $24. So $24 on April 28th. Let's see what
Yes.
it's at 2 years from now.
Yes. Palantir is a holding company which engages in the development of data integration and software. It was actually, the company was founded in 2003 and is headquartered in Denver, but they were not public until, I think, last year. Yeah, listed on September 30th, 2020. So there you go, guys. Don't say we don't give you anything. Don't say we never gave you anything.
They're certainly in a lot of industries. I think
What do
they're
you
in
think,
every,
Chris?
like literally everything. I think they're in.
What does your gut tell you?
I don't know. I'd have to watch that video again. Some of it. I mean,
Have fun with it. It's less exciting without me.
I'm sure that's true. Sure, that's true.
You can watch the industrials one. I didn't. All I had to hear was the CIA uses it and the NIH is into it, and I'm all into it.
Sure. No, I mean it could be very revolutionary. I like your comparison of blockchain. I mean, blockchain's of course different, but
Yeah, same
but I
principle.
understand the similarities. Yeah.
For reproducibility. You know, us working at the site level and the CRO, we're not really involved at the sponsor side, at least not yet. But reproducibility is a huge issue, and they're wasting years rather than weeks. You know, for getting an equal study or another study, comparable study done or designed and all that. So this helps with
Certainly.
that. Interesting. I'm gonna let you go eat dinner. Palantir, PLTR. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Catch
Thank
y'all
you.
later.